ورحمة الله وبركاته. أحسن الله عليك شيخنا، كيف حالك؟
حياكم الله.
الله يكرمكم، الله يحفظكم.
أنت يحتاج أنك دقيقة بس عشان الصوت بعيد، سأحتاج أني أضع هذه. صوتك يكون بعيد.
والله الآن كيف؟
لا الآن جيد، لكن عندما تقرأ الأسئلة ترجع وراء معنا.
طيب سأقرب إن شاء الله.
طيب إن شاء الله
نبدأ، وفقكم الله.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته واهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، حياكم الله. Dear brothers and sisters, to this 12th session of the Q&A in Ramadan. Just as a reminder, the hadith reported by Imam al-Bukhari on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من لم يدع قول الزور والعمل به فليس لله حاجة في أن يدع طعامه وشرابه. He whoever does not avoid the false speech and actions, then Allah has no need for him to leave his or to abandon his food and drink. And this means that if he doesn't leave this falseness, then his fasting is not going to be rewarded for. And falseness is something that Allah Ta'ala condemned in the Quran, and He praised the believers that they don't witness the falseness, as in Surah Al-Furqan. And the Prophet ﷺ also condemned falseness, as in the hadith when he ﷺ mentioned the major sins, he was leaning, and when he came to talk about or to warn about against falseness, he sat up. He said, "Ala wa qawl az-zur wa shahadat az-zur." He said, "Nay, but also the speech of falseness and the witnessing of falseness." And he repeated that up until the Sahaba said, "We wish that he stopped," because they were, because of what they saw him, sallallahu became so angry when he was repeating it, warning against this falseness and the speech, especially speech or actions. The example of it is lying, deception, cheating, mocking others, insulting, cursing, belittling, whether by your tongue or by any body part of yours. So you have to be careful in the day of fasting and even in other days. But when it is a day of fasting, then it is very highly recommended to stay away from these things. And it is a good time for training yourself to refrain from it. Wallahu a'lam.
أحسن الله عليك شيخنا، وجزاكم الله خير للتذكير، الله يحفظكم.
حياكم.
طيب سأقول لك أسئلة.
نعم.
طيب, so the first question, what's the advice or what's the Shaykh's advice to someone who is suffering from extreme waswas in Salah?
The advice is to just ignore it and act against what it says. If the waswas says that you have done only 2 rak'at, just ignore it and continue if you think that you've done 3. If the waswas comes, it says that you have lost your wudu, there is wind that you passed, just ignore it and continue your salah. The only remedy is to ignore it and to spit on your left 3 times and say, if we are outside, and say, A'udhu Billah min ash-shaytan rajim. That's the only remedy. And the main remedy is to just ignore it and act against what it calls you to. If you keep obeying it, it won't stop. It will elevate and escalate to take you to higher levels up until to take you out of Islam. So, catch it before it catches you. And now control it before it controls you. Just ignore it and act against what it says. Wallahu a'lam.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا. تسمعني جيدا صح؟
نعم.
ما شاء الله. طيب, another question here. What is the cure to الاستعجال, hastiness?
What is the what?
What is the cure to الاستعجال?
Cure. Istijal is not always bad. Istijal is not always bad. Hastiness is not always bad. And that which is good, then it is good. As Allah Ta'ala said, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. And here Allah Ta'ala said about the pious people, كانوا يسارعون في الخيرات. So they proceed. Allah Ta'ala said, proceed to forgiveness from your Lord. Meaning right away, immediately. And in the hadith, Allah Ta'ala said, فإذا أتاني يمشي أتيته أمشي وإذا أتاني هرولة أتيته هرولة. So if you go fast to Allah, then Allah Ta'ala will come fast to you and accept you. So hastening is not always bad when it is in performing the worships which is not limited to time, and even that which is limited to time, you need to hasten to do it in the beginning of the time. Do not delay it. And for example, Salah, other than Isha, the best is to do it first, when its time enters. For example, Zakah, the best is to just give it right once the time of it is due. Sadaqah, just proceed and give it. Hajj, proceed once you are able to. So anything that is good, proceeding to it and hastening in that is good. Is good. Except where the Sharia said not to hasten. For example, when Isa spoke about Salah, he said, come to it walking and don't come running or jogging, but come walking. And so forth, so on. If your parents call you, you need to hasten right then, because this is something good. This is something good. Naam, wallahu a'lam.
Barakallah khair, Shaykhana, barakallah feek. Another question here. What's the Shaykh's advice to those who restrict Salafiyya to 1 or 2 shuyukh?
These guys, they did not know Salafiyya well. They knew only one side of Salafiyya. They didn't see Salafiyya as a full scene. Salafiyya is not limited to a sheikh or 2 or a person or 2. La, Salafiyya is a manhaj. Salafiyya is a methodology, is a way of worship. So anybody who is upon this way, then he is from Salafiyya. And limiting it to only one or two shuyukh, that's not correct. But limiting it to shuyukh who follow the way of the Salaf, not 50-50. 50-50 shuyukh are not shuyukh of Salafiyya. Those who are bouncing between partisanship and Salafiyya, deviance and Salafiyya, these are not Salafis. These are not Salafis. Yeah, one side to the Ikhwan, one side to the Salafi, one side to the Tabligh, one lock to the Tabligh, one lock to the Salafiyya, one lock to the Sufis, one lock to the Salafiyya. That's not Salafiyya. Salafiyya is to keep on going on the way. It's not necessarily, Salafiyya is not partisanship to say that I belong to Sheikh so-and-so. That is not Salafiyya. Yes, this Sheikh is a great scholar, and he is, whether I studied under or not, he's my Sheikh, because he's calling to the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the true religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is Salafi. Salafiyya is the true religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is Salafi. So if he is calling to, whether he is from this country or that country, from this race or that race, regardless, we accept the da'watul haqq from whoever, whether he is from Saudi or from Kuwait or from Lebanon or from Ghana or from Nigeria or from Australia or from Yemen or wherever, from China, from America, from Latin America, as long as he is a Shaykh who studied under scholars and he is recommended and he is sticking to the way of the pious predecessors, he does not go out of it knowingly and willingly. Of course, we all make mistakes. No one is perfect. But if it is not a manhaj, if it is not a way that he goes with, or face here and face here, then that is okay. If he's not face here, but he makes a mistake, then we go gently and nicely approach him and explain to him the mistake. And inshallah he will accept it. But not anybody, we see a mistake with him, immediately we take him out of Salafiyya. That's not correct as well. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know. Sometimes, I think many times, I posted videos to people, I don't know them, but from that video, mashallah, their speech is 100% Abu Salafiyya. But I get shocked when, mashallah, too many brothers from my students, they correct me. Shaykh, you send this for this person. Do you know him? I said, no, but his speech is beautiful. He said, okay, see, this is his website, or this here, his videos. And I see, a'udhu billah. And then I apologize. I say, I'm sorry, I apologize to all those who I sent to. But anyway, this is called mistake. It says called mistake. But when a person who's claiming that is Abu Salafiyya, and he is sticking and working and this with pure Hizbis, not Hizbis that you think Hizbis, because some of our brothers, they themselves set up the material of classifying. So they classify this masjid and this person as his Ikhwani. I've been criticized that I am cooperative with Ikhwan Muslimin and with the Sururis. And why? Or they say, they did not name, they say he is a cooperative with Ahlul Bidah. I said, why? They say because he goes to Masjid Ibn Taymiyyah in Brixton, he goes to Masjid Sunnah in Manchester, and Masjid Furqan in Manchester, and he goes to Masjid Furqan and Masjid Quba in Leicester, and he goes Ajib, subhanallah. Okay, where's the Hizbiyya with this? Where are the bid'ah with these people? I've been there many times. I didn't see, and I taught there the manhaj of al-Sunnah, Salafiyya, and my words are clear. So why you classify them as not Salafis, and why you classify me as not Salafi? Why? Yani, assume that it is, yani, subhanallah, it is not based on your categorization of people and masajid and organizations. No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. One who you think that he is making mistake by cooperating with so-and-so, go gently and speak to him. Maybe you are understanding the matter wrong. Maybe he didn't know the vision that you have seen. So anyway, Salafiyya means those who are upon the way of the pious predecessors who used to make mistakes. Our pious predecessors used to make mistakes, and these mistakes did not take them out of Salafiyya, because as the Prophet ﷺ said, كل ابن آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون والله أعلم.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا وبارك الله فيك. عندي سؤال بالنسبة لهذا، ممكن أسأل؟
تفضل.
طيب, so as it relates to the question that just preceded, the question I have is that people nowadays, they're ignorant, or majority of the people are ignorant. We only have a few people who actually are serious and dedicated in seeking knowledge. May Allah will just preserve them. But majority of the people, they don't know how to find out who's correct and who's not correct. So they are obviously going to just assume everything that a person's saying is correct, okay? And they won't be able to find out due to the fact of their ignorance, okay? So this type of person who's ignorant and can't actually even find out who is actually upon the sunnah or who's not upon the sunnah, or who is called into falsehood and who's not called into falsehood due to their ignorance, what would you advise that type of person? That's number one. Number two, when a scholar makes a mistake, or a person of knowledge makes a mistake, or a person who's giving da'wah, who represents and is an ambassador of Islam and is giving da'wah, when he makes a mistake, obviously we don't look at the minor mistakes, but what type of mistakes would you say are classified as enough, or are there mistakes that will inevitably excommunicate a person off the fold of the manhaj of the pious predecessors, the companions? What other, or is there, do they exist, or is there darajat? Yani, would you say that there are mistakes that can take them off, or is every single mistake considered as a mistake? So those are the two questions connected to that one.
The answer to this question qualifies the one who asked to be in the same level of Shaykh al-Fawzan. Simple, that's the answer. If I give you an answer, it means that I'm qualifying you, I'm equaling you to Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, or Shaykh Rabi' or Shaykh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad. This is a knowledge that you need to spend at least minimum 50 years in seeking knowledge and teaching knowledge, so you can come to it. Not in a short answer with few words, or you can now classify this Shaykh is Abu Sunnah or he is not Abu Sunnah. No, that's not correct. This is the conclusion of minimum 40 years of study, knowledge, and nothing but knowledge. Like Shaykh al-Fawzan, he is only known as studying and teaching, studying and teaching. Shaykh Abdul Muhsin, Shaykh Rabi', Shaykh Ubaid, Shaykh Salih al-Suhaimi, Shaykh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili, Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Suhaimi, Ali al-Tuwajri, This Shaykh, the great Shaykh, this great Shaykh, they spent يعني, most of their lives studying knowledge, teaching knowledge. And as a يعني, a result of that, they can now يعني, can see, can figure if this person is Abu Salafi or not. But not just like that. Yani, ask a question and then the answer you take it and yani, like a chemical or a chemical liquid in the laboratory of the hospital. You put it and you can recognize, oh, this man is diabetic or not. No, that's not correct. That's not correct. It needs to have a long experience and seeking knowledge and teaching knowledge. Through there, Allah Ta'ala, it's not a knowledge that you go and learn it. It is Allah Ta'ala gives you that. As Allah Ta'ala said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ. This knowledge that Allah Ta'ala gives you, the understanding, as Allah Ta'ala said, فَفَهَمْنَاهَ سُلَيْمَانَ. فَفَهَمْنَاهَ سُلَيْمَانَ. Allah didn't give it to Dawood. Prophet Dawood, the father of Sulaiman, he gave it to Sulaiman. It's a result of yani, proper taqwa. Proper taqwa. As Umar radiallahu anhu said, that the firasa is to yani, to know things by seeing. That is a result of taqwa, proper taqwa. So we cannot answer this question just like that. But there are scholars who are known as Salafi scholars. I can name, no problem. The major scholars: Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, Shaykh Abdul Aziz al-Shaykh, Shaykh Salih al-Shaykh, Shaykh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, Shaykh Salih al-Suhaimi, Shaykh Rabi' al-Madkhali, Shaykh Ubaid al-Jabri, Shaykh Muhammad ibn Hadi, Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Suhaimi, Shaykh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili, Shaykh Ibrahim al-Ruhaili, Shaykh. Yani, someone will say, oh, Ibrahim, yes, Ibrahim al-Ruhaili is a Salafi scholar. No doubt. I have no doubt that he is a Salafi scholar. And others. These are the scholars today amongst the Ummah. And also Shaykh Hassan Abdul Wahab al-Banna in Egypt. Hafidhahumullah jami'an. These are the scholars of Salafiyya today. Shaykh Muhammad Adam al-Athiyubi in Mecca, Shaykh Husaylullah Abbas in Mecca, and many others, but these are the ones as known to yani, most of the Muslims around the world. These are scholars. If we want to go by countries, we have lots of names of Salafi scholars. Naam, wallahu a'lam.
أحسن الله عليك وجزاك الله خير. وأما بالنسبة للسؤال الثاني، يعني كيف متى يخرج؟ يعني هل يكون هل إذا خالف الأصلية والفرعية هكذا؟ متى يخرج ومتى لا يخرج؟
قولوا بالإنجليزي أو بالعربي.
يعني بعض الناس يعتبرون people like the second question. Some people they don't know the degrees between mistakes and stuff like that, so they consider maybe something small to be big or something big to be small. So what would you advise us as well, and how can a student or a layman detect this?
شوف يا أخي, I spent now 16 days in the isolation in Jeddah, and before that 33 days in the isolation in Morocco due to coronavirus. Until today, I'm supposed to be released 14, yani, like 10 days ago, 4 days or 7 days ago. But until today, I don't know who should I ask, who has the authority to take me out of isolation. How come a person wants to know how we can take someone out of Salafiyya? Okay, take me out of the isolation of coronavirus, then I tell you. This is not our duty. We are too little, very small. It's not our duty to take whoever, yani, take people out of Salafiyya and put people in Salafiyya. This is the major scholars of Islam. They are the ones who say that this one is not Salafi or this one is not upon proper religion. Those are the ones, not us, not me, not you. We are very small. Barakallahu feekum.
Jazakallah khair. Another question here.
And if you don't mind, I just want to add one thing. Until now, we are still learning in English. So where is the qualification to go on Jarh wa Ta'deel? First of all, we need to be very fluent in Arabic. We have the principles of each knowledge, the knowledge of fiqh, the knowledge of aqidah, the knowledge of hadith, tafsir. So we can be even, until this level, we are not even considered proper student of knowledge. Rather to be the analyzers and criticizers, and that's not correct. We have to go, first of all, ya akhi, learn what make you worship your Lord correctly. Don't take from anyone at this stage. Don't take from anyone, but from those who are well known or those who they recommend. Shaykh Salih al-Suhaimi is well known. Take from him. Someone come to you, he is recommended by Shaykh Salih al-Suhaimi. Khalas, alhamdulillah, he's known. And like that, I don't mean just Shaykh Salih al-Suhaimi, but I gave example because you guys know Shaykh Salih. So this is the way how to, but it doesn't mean that you criticize the others. But this is the person who you trust and go and take knowledge from. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh Al-Awwal. Jazakallah khair for that detailed answer. Another question here. We are not supposed to walk past or in front of somebody while they are praying. What about in Mecca and Medina when there are hundreds of rows? People are always walking past.
Wallahi, this is, first of all, the hadith is clear. Isa said, لو علم المار ما عليه من الإثم لكان أن بقي 40. If the one who's crossing in front of somebody who's praying, what sin he is committing, then it would be better for him to wait for 40. Ulama said the Prophet ﷺ did not say 40 what? 40 days, 40 months, 40 years. Imagine that. But some ulama, like of Shaykh Abdul Aziz bin Baz rahimahullah, he said because of the difficulty in Mecca and Medina, then it's pardoned for one who is crossing, not for one who is praying. The one who is praying should go and find a sutra, a burial, whether a Zamzam water container or a pillar or a short wall, whatever, or even his friend, if they are two, one of them sits in front of the other and be the sutra for him. And I remember our Shaykh Muhammad Aman al-Jami rahimahullah, one day I was in Masjid al-Nabawi and he was praying sunnah behind someone who he doesn't know, but he came and found that man sitting. So he prayed the Tahiyatul Masjid, Sunnah. So the man, for a reason, he left. And I jumped in and I sat in front of the Shaykh until the Shaykh finished, and he rubbed on my shoulder and he said, Jazakallah khair. Why? Because now I become sutra for him. So, if you are two in Masjid al-Haram or even Masjid al-Nabawi, one of you sits in front of the other and be the sutra for him. And the one who's praying should not allow anyone to cross between him and his friend, who's the sutra. But if you are praying behind someone and for يعني for reason or another that person gone, what can you do? خلاص, يعني that's your ability. But anyway, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, who is a major faqih, a very, very senior faqih of the Ummah. And I can say that he is the most senior faqih of the Ummah in this time. Please give me a second, huh? Give me a second. سلام. ايش اللي ودي اسوي؟ لا بس ايوه. Sorry. So Sheikh Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, said for the circumstance of Mecca and Medina, and that the people cannot wait, yani, because too many people praying, you cannot wait until they all finish. So he said, for this reason, there is no problem to cross. Wallahu a'lam.
أحسن الله عليك وجزاك الله خير شيخنا. Another question here. Board games / dice games. Is it permissible to play board games and dice games? Is it permissible to play board games or dice games?
والله شوف, يعني there is a hadith, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم forbid the nard, and nard is board and dice. Some say, but this is different. This is, يعني, I hear Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan was asked about it, and he said no difference at all. Anything that is, any game that is based on board and dice, that is haram, that is forbidden. So better not to play it, even if it is electronic. Yani, you play it on your computer. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. The narration that made Umar radiallahu anhu cry because of the secret of Abu Bakr, is this authentic, this narration?
Secret of Abu Bakr?
Well, the question is not quite clear, but it just says the narration.
I really don't know.
Okay. Next question. If I made a mistake and I know to do salah, yani sujood al-sahw, what do I say in the sujood al-sahw?
You say exactly what you say in the normal sujood. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. If there are some other dhikr to be said in the sujood generally, and sujood al-sahw and in sujood al-shukr, but it's not specific for that. There are many different dhikr to be said in the sujood generally. But if you keep saying Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, that's the best dhikr in sujood, in the sujood generally. Now.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. Can we place the Quran on the floor if we are praying or anything else?
Wallahi, Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen did not like to, yani, one who is praying with the mushaf to place it on the ground. That's not, yani, you need to put something next to you, or yani, hold it or put it under your armpit, something like that. And now, alhamdulillah, yani, all the smartphones has Quran in it. If you are in the prayer, better you use this, because you can switch it off and place it on the ground, no problem.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. Are there signs to show we have been forgiven by Allah?
There are signs.
Yeah, are there some signs that can indicate that one has been forgiven?
Some ulama amongst the Salaf, they said that when you find that, after doing a worship, when you find that you are inclined, you are going towards another worship, you wish to do another obedience, then that's a sign that Allah Ta'ala accepted from you and forgive you. And that's, of course, a clear, as some of the Salaf said, that al-hasanatu tunadi bi ukhtiha, the hasana, the good deed, call its sister, come, meaning to this person, because they found, that this person likes to do hasanat. وَالسَّيِّئَةُ تُنَادِي بِأُخْتِهَا, and the evil deed also calls its sister. So if you do a righteousness and then you find after that that you are يعني hoping to do more, and you are looking to do يعني other worships, other good deeds, then that's a good sign.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا. Question asks, can we use the Quran to research into science? Is it a valid idea?
To recite?
Using the Quran to research into science, is this a valid idea?
لا, that's not يعني a good thing to do. And the ulama have criticized that. Shaykh ibn Baz, Shaykh Uthaymeen, Shaykh Albani, they all criticize this phenomena which is coming up يعني for in the last 20, 30 years يعني in the history of the whole ummah. No one يعني came up with this and magnified like people in these 3 decades, in these past 3 decades. Everything they link it to, يعني they go to the Quran, the number of letters, the number of words, the number of, to the limit that they said يعني 9/11 incident is mentioned in Surah Al-Tawbah, because the number of the surah, the number of the ayah, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. The Quran is يعني sent down for you to look and see yourself, how good, how bad you are. There, that is the beneficial thing. Not يعني someone a couple of days ago sent me a video, a man saying يعني clean shaved, and he came to know it, but Ibn Kathir, Ibn Jarir, Ibn Mas'ud, Ibn Abbas, they did not know this thing. That the ayah of Surah Al-Kahf, where Allah Ta'ala said that the youth in the cave spent 300 years and 9, then he counted the words from that, from beginning of the story to the end of the story, it becomes 3. That's silly. That's not a magnificent thing. Or even to take it and get into, there are, yes, some kind of connection between it and science. Yes, that's possible, but not the way that the people are doing today. That not the way that people are doing today. You know what I mean? If it is talking about things that happen in the unseen, like what's going to happen in the future. If the Quran says that this thing is going to happen in the future, like about the dabba, that the animal that's going to speak, if like these things, if it happens, then we say that the Quran has spoken about it. Quran has spoken about it. Okay, like today they found that the black seed is a curing from, as they say now, coronavirus, but we say from all illnesses except death. They say, oh, see, the prophet of Muslims, the messenger of Islam, he spoke about it. That's okay, that's no problem. But to go to the Quran and try to figure out like numbers, like something like that, and then bring out a kind of proof, that's not correct. And the ulama have criticized that. What they call it al-i'jaz al-ilmi. That's criticized. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana. Question is, sister's asking, when you say ta'awudh at the beginning of a surah and then tasmiyah.
But we'll take this as last question because it has to break.
You say ta'awudh at the beginning of a surah and then tasmiyah. If a person starts in the middle of a surah, should they only say the ta'awudh?
Only ta'awudh, yes, only ta'awudh. Basmala is beginning of the surah, except Surah Bara'ah, no Basmala.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا. ممكن آخر سؤال شيخ، هذا الأخ
طيب بس عجل لأنه والله عندي درس ثاني تحديد له. Go ahead.
أعتذر، بارك الله فيك. I sell jewelry online. Can I use pictures of non-Muslim wearing my non-Muslim women wearing my jewelry so my customers can see what the jewelry looks like?
لا 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 لا. You can't, يعني, you show the يعني the woman to your cousin. Is that the question?
The question is to have pictures of non-Muslim women wearing his jewelry. His jewelry is his
I understand the question, but يعني, is the question يعني, asking about showing a woman, Muslim or non-Muslim,
to show
to your cousin or to your?
Nah, he said, this is the question. I sell jewelry online. Can I use pictures of non-Muslim women wearing my jewelry so my customers can see what the jewelry looks like?
طيب, what about the customers if they are men?
ما قال في السؤال.
لا يجوز. Definitely the customers could be men, could be women, could be a man with his wife looking into your website for product. That's not allowed. حرام.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا وبارك الله
الله
فيك.
أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.
السلام
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we continue tomorrow, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.